If you're in the state of Arizona and you are facing wage garnishment, or you're worried that you're going to be facing wage garnishment in the near future, you're going to want to stick around for this video where I discuss a new case from the Arizona Court of Appeals, hot off the press. It's going to impact wage garnishment and maybe give you a little glimmer of hope that things are going to get quite a bit better. Hi, my name is John Skiba, and I am an attorney in the state of Arizona, and I run the Consumer Warrior YouTube channel, where we focus on helping people with information and tips and strategies on how to deal with serious debt problems. All right, let's talk about this new case that just recently came out. And before, the case is called Silence versus Bets. It's an Arizona Court of Appeals decision that deals with wage garnishment. And the reason why this is such a big case is because a couple years ago, back in 2022, November 2022, on the ballot here in Arizona was something that's known as Prop 209, Proposition 209, which completely revamped and changed the exemption statutes in the state of Arizona. For example, it made it so the wage garnishment was reduced from the 25% that they can withhold from your paycheck all the way down to 10%. So that's a huge deal. If you're getting your wages garnished and they were taking a full quarter of your paycheck, this new Proposition 209 reduced that down to 10%. So they weren't taking such a big chunk, and you could make it a little bit more manageable. It also made it so that a lot of consumers were able to settle out debts more effectively because the creditor didn't want to wait for 10%. You know, it took a much longer time period for them to get their money as compared to when they were getting the full 25%. So ever since Prop 209 went into effect, though, there's been a ton of litigation over it. The creditors bar, they didn't like it. They felt like that they were getting short end of the stick and this was unconstitutional. And so it's been a big battle in the courts ever since then, determining whether the provisions of Prop 209 were legitimate or not, or whether they were enforceable or not. And one of the biggest issues in the Prop 209 debate was whether it applied to debts, wage garnishments, judgments, all that were entered before it became effective in December of 2022. So I know this kind of gets into the weeds of it a bit, but it's important to understanding how it impacts your rights as a consumer, and if you're dealing with a wage garnishment going forward, to understand this background a bit. So within Prop 209, within the statute that passed, the proposition that passed, what it states is that the new law, it doesn't apply to things going forward, just to things going backwards. So if there was a debt or a judgment that was in place before Prop 209, the creditors argue that these new provisions shouldn't apply and they should be able to garnish your full 25%. So what the court said in this case, again, it's Silence versus Bets. It's an Arizona Court of Appeals decision. And one kind of side note to this that can give you a little bit of hope, if you are representing yourself in court, I know that often you feel overwhelmed, you're disadvantaged, you feel like, how am I going to go up against law firms and attorneys who do this all day long? And I admit it's difficult. But Silence versus Bets, Shane Betts was the defendant in this matter, represented himself against a very reputable law firm all the way to the Court of Appeals, and he won. He won the whole thing. So, but what the court said here, the Court of Appeals said, is they said, look, Prop 209, it does say, that it doesn't apply to newer debts that were incurred. But what the Court of Appeals said is, look, even if the judgment was entered before December of 2022, if the writ of garnishment was issued after December of 2022, and December of 2022 is when the new statute went into effect, if the writ of garnishment was applied for and actually received, the garnishment started after December 22, then it's limited to the 10% garnishment. So that's a pretty big thing, because I can tell you, as someone who practices law in Arizona, we were seeing the Superior Court and the Justice Courts, it was kind of hit and miss. It was a little bit all over the place. Essentially, the creditors were requesting the full 25%, and if the consumer didn't object to it, then it was something where they were just allowing the 25% to go forward. So now there's some clear guidance. That's one thing that was lacking in this. There wasn't a lot of clear guidance from the Court of Appeals, because the Superior Court now has to follow this, the Justice Courts now have to follow this. Now there's some clear guidance. If the request for a garnishment occurred after December 2022, even if the judgment is super old and they've been out there forever, as long as the request for the garnishment occurs after December 2022, they're going to be limited to the 10% of your net wages for the garnishment. So that's a big thing, because that can help you with settlement. That can help you just to free up some money if you're in a situation where a garnishment's already pending. And not only that, here's something that kind of my opinion, and I was reading this, that I was thinking, If you have a creditor who either is continuing to garnish you at the higher rate or they're requesting a new garnishment and they ask for the 25%, the creditor may be opening themselves up to a claim by you against them under the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, which is a federal statute that states that they cannot try to do anything to collect that's contrary to the law, essentially. So if they're asking for more than what the law allows, I think they could be opening themselves up to some FDCPA liability. So I know we kind of dug into the weeds a bit on this one, but I thought that this case was an important one. I'll put a link to it in the notes below the video if you want to check it out, if you're representing yourself. If you do have an issue with a wage garnishment that you want some help with, I am in the state of Arizona. I can help you. I offer free consultations to those who are in Arizona to help walk you through some of the options like this to either get it reduced, get the judgment thrown out. We even do bankruptcy type options to be able to get rid of the judgment and the garnishment completely. Check it out below. I'm happy to talk with you. Thanks for watching today.